Hi, everybody, and welcome to the bonus round.
Hello, I'm Ben.
I'm Ryan, and today we're going to be talking about cozy games. And by cozy games, we mean games that you can kind of curl up with.
Yeah,
and enjoy.
They make you want to take a hot chocolate next to an open fire with chestnuts hanging.
Chestnuts hanging?
Yeah.
From your chestnut sack?
Yeah, yes, from the chestnut sack. The 5G radiation waves have really made people mutate in strange ways. We didn't think we'd actually ever have chestnuts, but here we are in 2020 with chestnuts, and you can roast them open over an open fire, just not too
close.
You're
not careful.
Yeah.
Just keep your pants on when you're near the fire, and you can avoid that problem.
That's how
entirely.
I shave them. I just kind of
redirect a soft beam of light from the fire and hope that you don't burn
through
them
a magnifying glass. Yeah, you got to be real quick, or else if you focus on one spot too hard, it's very thin skin, right? So it just pierces immediately, and the stench that comes out of chestnuts is disgusting.
Oh my god.
You gotta keep your chestnuts fucking protected.
We are in a silly mood today, which is good because silly is how you want to feel when you want to be comfy.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely comfy. I'm curled up. I have a nice pillow behind me so that my back isn't breaking as I record.
I got my chestnut supporters.
I have my chestnut supporters. It's a good night to talk about comfy games.
Oh god.
So I guess we can start off with just the first thing that comes to your mind when you think a comfy game.
Honestly, I think your brain goes in one direction. My brain also goes in that direction. But the first one that ever comes to mind for me personally, after playing many hours, is actually Stardew Valley, as opposed to the other one.
Stardew Valley is certainly in the realm of a game that I'd find comfy. Because one of the comfy games, at least that I first think about, is Harvest Moon, which, I mean, there you go. Stardew Valley is literally just Harvest Moon, with Animal Crossing elements thrown into
Spiritual successor, little town. Oh god, I have the hiccups, I'm sorry.
But entirely designed to give you that nice, warm, relaxing feel. And it's certainly a game that you can kind of sit back and enjoy playing, next to your fireplace or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, the
next
most
to your
hours,
space heater.
Yeah, your chestnuts roaster. The most hours I get into Stardew is usually during the winter because effectively I'm looking for just a chill experience, right?
And not a literally chill one, because you're already getting enough of that outside.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like leaving my house in the winter at all. Just coming home from work, which my wonderful woman drove me home from work today because I was
that's nice.
She was coming over anyways. I was it made sense, but I was I don't want to have to walk to the metro and then walk another 20 minutes to get home in this fucking horrible winter.
I don't love that, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But that's Stardew is definitely the kind of game you can say. I mean, you got so many different relaxing activities to do in it.
You can go play the fun mini games the adventure thing where you go in the caves and you're just exploring and mining and killing little slimes. You've got the whole farming aspect, of course, which is just always kind of a fun mechanic in most games. Which for some reason reminds me of a thread that happened when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, where they were imagine if someone made a game like Stardew Valley, but with Red Dead Redemption 2 graphics. And I was that wouldn't work.
That would be horrible.
That would
be
suck.
So stressful.
And they were
depressing.
no, imagine if it worked, though. And I was it wouldn't.
That just sounds like Great Depression Simulator.
Yeah, there's no aesthetic. The reason that Stardew works is because it's a cute little pixel art game, and the music's very fun.
I feel like that would fundamentally be so the reason that people find those games relaxing is because the aesthetic is entirely designed to calm you down.
Yeah.
Whilst you do these activities that, while not entirely stressful, are intensive.
Yeah. While
the
this
farming takes a lot of thought.
Yeah, while this hyper-realistic shit would just ruin the whole vibe of the game. And actually...
Yeah, it would make it feel really upsetting, because, farming is a dirty job.
Yeah, the person who I was actually arguing this with was the Arcade Montreal, owner, I think, or the announcer.
Oh my
some shit
God.
on Facebook, and I was like, no, you're being fucking stupid. This would suck. It
That
would
doesn't make
like
any sense.
there is no way this could work.
I feel like that's the
Yeah.
sort of argument you make if you've never actually played Harvest Moon.
Yeah, or Stardew.
Stardew.
And like that's the thing.
Yeah.
I think he might have, and it was just kind of like this like, oh, this will get me reactions and likes and comments or something. I don't know. Whatever. Either way, like he seems like a relatively chill guy from what I've seen of him. He hosted some Street Fighter V tournaments a while back, and I went to one, and it was a good time. And he seems like a fine bloke, but just horribly misinformed on that subject. But to get away from that and going back to the calmness, I don't know why it just sent me down this spiral of like I remember this thread and being upset. But yeah, Stardew is a amazing, relaxing game. You can like romance basically anyone. Like it's just fun. You can go fishing. The fishing minigame is probably the least fun part of that game,
I feel like
though.
the fishing minigame in Stardew isn't as simple as like Animal Crossing's fishing, and that's why it feels not as fun.
No, I just think it's bad. I will die on the it's bad hill. Not even like it's not even bad in comparison to other games. It's just objectively bad.
Yeah, I think it's a really poorly designed fishing minigame.
Yeah, and that's not even a criticism against like the designer or whatever. It's just every good game has a mediocre fishing game.
Yeah,
It's usually
I
a
mean,
fishing game too, because it's
even,
one of those things.
even like
That's-
the best games, like honestly, just might not excel in that area, and that's fine. Like I mean,
Yeah, I mean-
the Zelda series is like one of the few things I can think of that has like standout quality fishing games.
Yeah, I mean, even Nier Automata has a fishing game, and it's not
fun.
technically a mini game, but it's not fun.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
don't
very
like it.
hard, and it's very frustrating. And Nier Automata is like my favorite game ever to exist, right?
Yeah.
So like
There we
that's
go.
that's kind of where that sentiment of every super great game has a horrible fishing game.
So it's in there somewhere. You just have to
Yeah.
look hard.
And again, I think we can agree that the only one that I personally have ever seen do it right, outside of Sega Bass Fishing, is Animal Crossing.
Yeah, in terms of having like a perfect fishing, I think Animal Crossing to me is like the perfect ideal for a fishing game of any sort. Of course, this is for a game, I should say, where the entire focus isn't fishing, because River King and stuff like that.
Yeah,
those are
I mean-
fishing games with like dedicated fishing mechanics. That's a
Yeah,
different
and
thing.
even the Final Fantasy 15 fishing thing seemed pretty alright.
Yeah, that's not so bad. I feel like that's almost similar to the Zelda fishing, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's very Sega Bass Fishing. It's very
Yeah.
like intensive fishing. Whereas the
Exactly.
Animal
Like
Crossing
there's
is
kind of like
this-
there are systems to master and to understand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Animal Crossing is just like just hit the button when the thing goes bloop.
Yep. Which is like perfect. It's a
Yeah.
perfect fishing component. I mean, speaking of Animal Crossing, I guess that would be maybe the first thing that comes to my mind when I'm thinking of a comfy game.
Yeah,
And-
it's definitely first, if not close second to me. Between Stardew and Animal Crossing, I think those are the two hyper relaxing games that I've cranked the most time in. So when I think
Yeah.
of one, if anyone's like, what's a good game to just chill out to? I'm like, Stardew or Animal
Yeah,
Crossing.
for sure. I mean, I can't even fathom how many hours I've pumped into not even just Animal Crossing New Horizons, but like collectively with New Leaf and with Animal Crossing on the GameCube. I have
God.
probably spent actual literal like years of time in those games in my actual life.
No shit, I think I looked at my New Leaf time count before my DS broke. The last time I saw was like 900 to 1,000 hours, I think.
Wow. Oh my god, really?
And that's just New Leaf, yes. And
Yeah.
that was me restarting towns, too. And just being like, I am unhappy with how this turned out.
Let's do it
I'm going-
again.
Yeah, let's. My museum's full, everything. Not happy. Kill it. Blow it up, nuke it. We're
I feel like
starting
that's what
over.
I love so much now about New Horizons is the island is so much more infinitely customizable
Oh
than
God, yeah.
like it. I feel like the potential for you to feel like there's a crash uh, is just not there anymore, and that's very
Well, I mean,
nice.
just the week I spent with it, I was like, "Yo, this game though."
Yeah, it's very.
This
I've been playing it since it came out, and I played it almost daily. And
I think Animal Crossing is this weird phenomenon that is very enticing and like kind of just sucks you in.
yeah,
Because at first glance, you're like, what's the big deal? And then you play one of the games, and between the relaxing, no pressure gameplay, the amount of stuff you can actually do in the game, and
hmm
not have a linear progression to anything really, other than like shops expanding or whatever. And on top of all of that, the amazing, amazing OST that every single one of these games comes out
yeah,
with.
yep.
The
Kozumi
atmosphere.
Totaka is a fucking master when it comes to being able to craft music that is like jovial, relaxing, serene, and just like
Hijinksy.
puts you in a nice mood.
Yeah, that's the thing. And
Yeah.
like all of these things come together in this culmination of like perfect, just chill
Yeah.
fucking mood.
I mean,
And like
especially
you
with New
start playing it.
Horizons because the soundtrack is now entirely like it's a lot of it is scored by like ukulele and woodwind instruments and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
timpani and stuff like that. So it's really, really just like
Well, I mean, even like New
so
Leaf sold
nice.
me super hard because New Leaf, I think
New Leaf
I
has an
fall
amazing
asleep.
soundtrack.
I fall asleep to that soundtrack all the time, and
Yeah.
even the OG one on because I'm not really familiar with anything but the GameCube one, New Leaf, and
Same here. I've never played City Folk and I've only played Wild World in passing.
yeah,
I
and
never
I've only
owned either
listened to
of them.
those. I've only listened to those OSTs, and the OSTs do justice, and I can
Yeah.
imagine that they're perfect for like the atmosphere of the game and what it's
Mhm.
trying to deliver because they usually are. Um, yeah, it's just I think Animal Crossing is probably the strongest contender in this category
Mhm.
of like people's moms get into video games because of Animal Crossing, people's
Mhm.
grandmas, like
It's
your
just it's a truly
uncle.
universal game experience and it's
Hmm.
very it's nice.
Yes.
It's extremely nice. I think it's something that it and Stardew have in common, and something that I guess contributes to the relaxing atmosphere of both of these games, is just the idea that it's pretty open ended, and you can kind of just do what you want and pick what you like the most in the game, and do a lot of that to your heart's content. Because like my
Yeah.
favorite thing to do in Animal Crossing is to catch bugs and to fish, and to do the to do like just kind of home decoration and that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
That's
So
that's
like
another really strong aspect is just rearranging your room and or house.
yep, all the
You're just
time
like, yes.
finding the perfect thing for you. I also something that I really like and I do online so you can see my stuff on Instagram is pattern making. I love sitting down and making patterns in that pattern maker and
Oh yeah,
I
you went really hard in
oh
New
yeah,
Horizons.
I made some I made a bunch of city pop and like jazz album covers. If anybody's interested, you can find it on my Instagram. But yeah, I love doing that. I find it so therapeutic and so chill to just sit back and put on some music and make like an album cover in that from scratch. Like it's just like, oh, this is so nice that I get to do this, and it's something I did all the time in New Leaf, and it's something
Yeah.
I did all the time in the GameCube Animal Crossing, and it's never gotten stale for me. It's just something that I infinite is like infinite fun. So I really really do love doing that. I guess we can move on to stuff that maybe doesn't fit so neatly into like the open-ended games part of like relaxing, because I feel like there's other stuff that's just like it's relaxing for other reasons, right?
Yes.
Like
Well, I was about to I was gonna do a segue where I'm like, and coming off of Animal Crossing, it doesn't necessarily have to be a relaxing game to be a comfort game.
no,
Because
of
one of
course
my
not.
strongest comfort games is probably Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, and I feel like that's probably comforting for you the same reason it'd be comforting for a lot of people. It's just a nostalgic hug of a game.
Yeah, I know what's happening. The drama is removed because I've beaten it.
Tons of
Right? Like
times.
all these tense
It's stuff
situations.
you know
I'm
from the
like,
back of your hand. Yeah.
yes, exactly. And it's just fun going through these worlds. And it's not even necessarily a full playthrough every single time I pick it up
No, of
again,
course
right?
not.
Because it's a pretty long game. But it's just fun to pick up and go through. God, not Traverse Town.
Twilight Town. Yeah,
Twilight Town,
playing through
yes.
the intro of Kingdom Hearts 2. I mean, Twilight Town has got to be one of the most conducive to being relaxed areas in all of gaming.
Yes, I mean you're basically just shenanigansing with your friends and like exploring local town rumors. It's
I love that stuff.
It's a JoJo Part 4 like episode
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. And I eat that sort of thing up, and I know you do too.
Yeah.
That's really a great example, actually, of just like the perfect,
And the whole time
relaxing
you have the
gameplay
Twilight
experience.
Town music in the background,
Oh,
which
yeah.
also again sets the ambience of just everything's cool.
Those
Don't worry
beautiful
about
the
it.
beautiful strings, the clarinet or oboe, whatever it is that kind of plays the main
This-
motif of that song.
Definitely a woodwind.
So yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I love Twilight Town. I love the Twilight Town intro. Another part of Kingdom Hearts 2 that I find like super kind of chilled out and relaxing is the Winnie the Pooh mini games. Those are so fun.
Oh, yes, every single time.
Yeah, I love those.
Super strong. Super
They're-
strong.
It makes me kind of wish for like a good Winnie the Pooh game, like something which I'm sure is something that has just never been made apart from the Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Well, there's that Winnie the Pooh baseball game online.
Oh, I mean,
You just-
apart from that too, yeah.
Okay,
that,
yes, yeah.
That's like that almost feels like cheating.
Yeah, that one's too good.
But like like what is that, Winnie the Pooh's home run or something like that's so funny.
It's such a good game.
Christopher Robin
I
is
don't
a
know
bitch to
anyone
beat
who
in that
hasn't
game.
played that. Yeah.
But one that I like, just like a Winnie the Pooh game where you kind of just like go through maybe the stories from the books, but it's done in like, I don't know, maybe if it was like a very soft and gentle point and click or something like that, that would be so nice. I would
Yeah,
I would
kind
like
of
a game
like one
like
of those
that.
older point and click adventure games. That could work. That could land itself really well.
And if it was done in like, I feel like I wouldn't like it if it was done in
Oh,
the style of the Disney
God.
movies.
Yeah, I was about to say, who owns the license for Winnie the Pooh?
Oops,
And
who do you
then I
think?
went, oops.
If it wasn't, not that I think that Disney's aesthetic for Winnie the Pooh is bad. In fact, I like it quite a bit. But I feel like the tone I'm going for is the Ernest H. Shepard
books.
illustrations from the books.
Yes. Yeah.
Which are like, they're such a vibe. They're so cozy.
And you could totally make that work for a fucking point and click.
If everything kind of looked like a 2D like illustration, that would be so pretty. With like watercolored style texture to it. I love that.
yes.
That would be so
Yeah,
neat.
yeah. Like water paints, kind of going outside of the black lines too, just
Yeah.
for the aesthetic feel. Oh man.
In like the, I guess within the realm of games that are not necessarily relaxing gameplay experiences, but make me feel relaxed when I play them because I just love them so much, a big comfort game for me would probably be my favorite game of all time, Final Fantasy IV, which is a game that I've replayed countless times, not always to the end, but frequently to about the midway point, which is about the amount that you can play that game in a chilled out state of mind before it starts getting really difficult. But like, especially playing through the intro sequence of that game and then into like the parts in which it's just Cecil by himself, and then Cecil with Rydia, and then Cecil, Rydia, and Edward and Tella, like all of these early beats in the game where you're kind of like assembling a loose party and then getting separated from them again, going to Mysidia and doing all that sort of stuff, fighting some of those initial bosses, like all that sort of stuff. I find it, because I know this game back and front now like nobody's business. It's just like, there's just something so cathartic about sitting down and just playing through a couple of, just through a couple of dungeons and doing some random battles out in the overworld, leveling up a little bit, grinding a little
Yeah.
bit. It's stuff that I just find super super chill, and it's like it's not a game I crack open often. And this is, by the way, I should mention, not the DS version of the game, which is really really stressful and difficult.
Yeah.
I'm talking specifically about like the original game, or even more specifically like the Game Boy Advance remake of the original game, which I find is like the perfect experience Final Fantasy wise. If you want to play like a perfect Final Fantasy game, that would be it. But yeah, that's like a big comfort game for me. I just find it really, really cozy. You know
very
what?
fair.
You know what's another series just in general that excels in making very comfy games? I'd say the Kirby series.
Okay, yes.
Like-
I was either going Rune Factory or Kirby.
Yeah, I mean, Rune Factory is just Harvest Moon with boss battles after all.
yes.
But
Kirby is very feel goody.
yeah, there are a lot of Kirby games, and you can pretty much pick any one of them and have a pretty solid time for the most part.
And Kirby's one of those ones where it's great because it surface level is very fun and kiddish.
Yeah.
And then like lore level is deep and kind of dark, almost on a Dark Souls level.
Yeah, there is some cosmic horror in this series for sure. And something I appreciate actually a lot about Kirby is that they're good specifically because they're easy.
Yeah.
They're
they're not
easy
they're not
Yeah.
they're not ridiculously easy.
No, they're
just
not.
kind of these there's kind of
they're
like
such elemental games. Like it's really you have like your one ability and then your basic platforming skills, but like the Kirby games are like designed to be playable by anybody of any age. Like they're completable by anybody of any age and practically any skill level.
yes. And like even just focusing on that point of Kirby and then seeing what Sakurai went on to do with not necessarily Kid Icarus, but Smash. Because Kid Icarus was a wrist breaker.
Kid Icarus is an interesting game.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
One day we'll talk about that. That's
We'll have to. It's on
fucking
Touch
game.
Generation. It's
Yeah.
on Touch Generation.
That is a strange fucking game.
But but just with the Smash thing, where like Smash is a fighting game where fuck your meta, fuck the balance. Who cares? This character does this.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Like
Kirby
a very fun
really
party.
is the prototype of Smash in a lot of ways, because if you've ever played a Smash game, it plays exactly like a Kirby game. Like the controls in a Smash game feel like the controls in a Kirby game.
Yeah.
You
'cause
can
they're
tell
basically the same.
Sakurai was like not necessarily copying his own homework, but like he recognized that like in order to make
Can I have another beer too?
in order to make a game that feels elemental and natural to basically anybody, in order to make a game that is like pick up and play, you have to make it feel somewhat like Kirby.
Yeah.
Because Kirby is the perfect pick up and play game. And like
Yeah.
in terms of Kirby games, like so many of them are like rich with character and atmosphere. I mean, even from like the first game in the series on the Game Boy, Kirby's Dream Land, to Kirby's Adventure on the NES, which is like still one of the best games on the NES and a really late release for that
100%.
console, but like pushes the damn thing to its limits and still,
Oh no, that game looks
still
amazing.
looks great, plays great, sounds great, and like was so good that when they remade it for the Game Boy as Nightmare in Dreamland, like they basically didn't have to change anything but the graphics. Like they didn't even have to add much for the game to feel like a complete package. And I feel like that's something that can rarely be said about a lot of NES games that get shiny kind of new remakes. Like they always have to kind of add something or beef them up a little bit in order to make them feel a little more substantial, but Kirby's Adventure never needed that. I'd say it's similarly to like Super Mario Brothers 3 or any of the Mario games they port to the Game Boy Advance, which like some of them have their issues, like Mario Advance 2 or Super Mario 2 for the Game Boy Advance, where nobody shuts the fuck up.
Yeah.
And everybody is talking. But like those are like the only games I can think of apart from that, and maybe like The Legend of Zelda, Link's
Awakening?
Link no, not Link's Awakening, A Link to the Past, which
Oh,
they
yeah,
did
yeah.
the really good remake on the, or not barely a remake, port pretty much on the Game Boy, and that is really, really excellent. But like, you really don't have to change much about Kirby from game to game, and people will still love it and buy it. Like the latest game on
Planet Robobot was amazing.
Planet Robobot is amazing. Star Allies on the Switch is great.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That is
yeah.
a
I haven't
great
played that one yet.
Kirby game. It's so excellent. It's smooth. It feels great to play. It's fun, and it's just a game that you can sit through and really get a lot out of and have a good time playing. There's so many cool powers. I mean, trying out the different powers is really fun. And when you're having fun, you're relaxed. And the Kirby games are like, they're the perfect games to play if you just want to have a good time. If you just want to be happy and satisfied.
100%.
Yeah, so those are another ones that come to my mind.
I think one of the weirdest ones that comes to my mind, and I'm really glad we're segueing off of Kirby for this one.
Yeah.
And, this is the part where everyone will look at me and be like, that makes sense for you, but what?
That makes sense for you, but nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you find relaxing?
One of my strongest comfort games is Resident Evil 2, and including the Resident Evil 2 remake.
That makes sense and is not a surprise.
Yeah,
this is so on brand for you.
This makes so much sense. It is not a shocker to anyone, but also everyone is like, but
it makes a lot
that's
of
how
sense.
it be. It's one of those games where, I mean, like, I'm a slut for horror, right? Like my comfort movies are shush.
The whole room agrees.
The whole room. Pumpkin agrees. My woman agrees. Everyone said you're just okay. Anyway, yes, but like my comfort movies are horror movies. Most of them. My comfort games, obviously Resident Evil 2, and even remake. I think 3. I'd even put 3 remake as one of my comfort games. I replayed it again.
Yeah, you can, despite it being a tense experience, you can still just like, you slip into it and you can be like, I feel like I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun to me.
I feel like horror games and horror movies, I feel similarly, are just, I love being scared.
Mm-hmm.
I like being scared. I feel like,
especially like on your 70th playthrough of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, you know when that next scare is coming.
Know what's happening. You're like, haha, I got you, sucker.
Yeah.
It's just a very like nostalgic and like fun experience, and they're some of my favorite games to play during the winter, especially because it's double dark. Like I can start playing this game at like 5 p.m. and turn off all my lights and the atmosphere is perfect, whereas in the summer you're like, I have to wait till 9:30 to get the feel, right?
Exactly. I know exactly how that is. Yeah, that's totally right. Winter is the perfect time for horror stuff.
Yeah.
Summer like high summer in the summer vacation late at night is great too, but the fact that you don't have to wait until 9:30 and you can just be like, haha, horror all the time, baby. Like that's winter is great for that. Also because you're often secluded in the winter.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I'm basically a hermit by nature. Pre-lockdown shit, I didn't really go out much. I'm missing shows now, but
yeah, I miss those too. God damn.
That's basically it. Going out to bars too sometimes, but not necessarily to meet other people. Just like going to bars with like a friend or two.
Yeah. Or I miss going over to people's houses, having a couple people over and just having drinks and stuff. Now that was comfy.
As my girlfriend adequately said, you're a triple Taurus. Of course you don't like leaving your house.
Got him.
Yes. Piggybacking off of
fucking got him.
One of the more horrifying comfort games I have to one of the more wholesome ones.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if you've experienced a short hike.
I have played a short hike.
You have?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, yes. Very, very fun, good game.
It is.
Very short-ish, kind of.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, the name itself says it all, but it is a pretty brief, bite-sized game.
Yeah, I think I beat it in 8 hours, and I played that in one day. And like, it's just a very fun experience. You just kind of go around, talk to people. There's a plethora of mini games to do to collect golden feathers. The end goal is to climb to the top of the mountain to get cell phone reception to call your parents.
And that's it.
Very wholesome. And you call your parents, and they're like, "We love you.
All right.
Can't wait to see you from camp." Not sleepaway camp. That's a very different. It's a horrifying experience. But yeah, just camping, hanging out with friends, and then you get to be ejected from a geyser on top of the mountain. Thankfully, it's not a volcano.
No,
and
thank God for that.
That would be a fucking
that would be a really short hike.
I was drinking some soup when you said that, and I almost died. But yes, geyser shoots you up, and you just get to glide all around the mountain. Beautiful music plays. The OST for this game is amazing. It was, I believe it's a humble produced game. So like the Humble Bundle people made it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
It's very cute and wholesome, and it's also one of my favorite ones to go back to for a quick, like, because I mean, once you beat it, you can just, you have your feathers, you can climb to the top, you go do other mini games or whatever, but like you can just kind of dick around and have a good time while music plays, and it's just fun. It's one of those super short experience-based games.
That's a good one. Yeah, a game that I really like that I picked up for I think off of Itch.io, I believe. It's called Tales from Toppletown, and this is a game I play frequently just to kind of like chill out to. Obviously, it's a cozy game. It is like the epitome of cozy, though. Like everything about this game is designed to just make you feel happy, and it's so deeply, deeply wholesome. You know that part at the end of Deltarune where you're just walking around the town?
Yeah.
It feels like that, but a full game.
Ooh.
That's the kind of game it is, but you can get it on Itch.io. It's a small indie-produced sprite game where you play as either a mouse or a cat, and you walk around a little town, and you talk to all the little other animals, and a beautiful chiptune score plays. I believe the score is, if I recall, it's by Hazel Clay, who does a lot of good music online, and people should be following her. I think she did the score for it. I think that's how I heard about the game, is because I follow her. But if anybody hasn't played Tales from Toppletown or heard of it, check it out on Itch.io. It's a really nice little game, but what I like is that it's kind of, I think, specifically designed for young adults or older teenagers who just kind of want to feel like they have a sense of community, which is, I feel like, oftentimes something that feels missing from a lot of people who are maybe living away from where they grew up or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe just feel alienated from their peers. It's a game that does a really good job of making you feel like you're part of a little society. And even though it's so simple, it's like made an RPG Maker, I'm pretty sure, even. Like that level of simple. It's really, really fun and gorgeous. So that's one that I would recommend if anybody just wants a nice, wholesome, really relaxing experience. It's just a game about talking to people, exploring this little town.
Send me the name of that in Discord after.
For real.
I'm very interested.
I will indeed. It's one that I think of often when I'm like, oh, that was just like, it's all, it's all the best parts of that last part of Deltarune. But it's not an RPG. It's just a little walking around and talking to people game, and it's super cute.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one that I definitely would just like put up there as like, yeah, comfy. Another one that comes to mind as comfy too is any of the Professor Layton games.
Oh yes,
which are just like those are such great games.
I'd even put a lot of the Phoenix Wrights in there personally, but for different reasons.
I mean, single player adventure games with light mysteries. I mean, I should say, like, Phoenix Wright, not as light as Professor Layton. Professor Layton really sells itself on its kind of like Lupin the Third but comfy tone that it has, where it's very soft, very Ghibli-ish, which makes sense because it's by level 5.
Yeah, which
But it's also like they're pretty strictly puzzle adventure games, and like the games often have like over 100 different puzzles to do, and none of the puzzles are terribly difficult, but some of them can challenge you. So it's never necessarily an easy game all the time, but it's frequently a relaxing game that's pretty stress-free. And even the story, though the stories are often very good, are like not terribly like the pacing isn't breathless and kind of leaving you always constantly worried about like what's happening next. Like you always feel comfortable enough narratively to be doing the puzzles in the game. And the puzzles are the way they gate progression, so you just do a puzzle until you get to the next cutscene. Excuse me. I really do love the Professor Layton games. They're very, very good.
They're fun.
So that's one that I just think is also just, they ooze like a relaxing energy. Sit down and have a cup of tea and play a Professor Layton game, especially one of the early DS ones, and you pretty much won't be disappointed. They're very, very good games.
Yeah, it's very hard to be disappointed by them.
Mm-hmm.
There was one that I really wanted to talk about, but it has completely slipped my mind, but I have a backup one.
Sure.
But I'm just kind of trying to think of what it was, because it was very good. It was one of those like epiphany moments where I was like, I can't believe I
assure you
about
this game is amazing.
Yes, and hopefully it comes back while I talk about. All right, it's not back. While I talk about Valhalla.
Valhalla is
cyberpunk bartender action, which is probably one of the chillest games I have actually ever played.
Yeah, when they say action, they are joking. Like, that is a tongue-in-cheek statement.
That game
100%.
is like
that game is not actiony at all, but that's why
that game
great.
Is a book with interactive drink making.
Exactly, and it's a
very good book. Yes,
a very good book at that. It's something to kind of lose yourself in like these characters and their individual stories that they come to the
that's
bar
the thing.
Share.
It's one of those ones that just is so intriguing and immersive.
Mm-hmm.
Between the OST, the character development for every single character, and there's a lot, and also balancing your like actual life, essentially as I don't remember her name, but as the bartender.
Yeah. And it's a better Cyberpunk game than Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh yeah, well oh god, okay. That kind of reminded me of one of the statements I wanted to say at the end of the episode. But
that's fine.
I was like, look forward to the next full episode of GamePunx where we talk about Cyberpunk 2077.
Yay!
And the stories have not stopped coming.
They truly have not.
Like, when it came out, I was like, oh, good. We have 10. Oh, it's day 2. We have 40. Oh, it's been a week. We have...
Nope.
Oh, no. We have 300 things to talk about. And me especially, because like I was looking forward to that game.
Oh, yeah, you sure were.
I'm still looking forward to legally acquire the game.
Yeah, legally. Through legal means only, definitely.
Of course. I would never, ever subject the poor CEOs at CD Projekt Red for my $80.
No, of course
that
not.
would be unfair and fraudulent.
We were very convincing.
To everything cyberpop. I mean, cyberpunk stands for.
Cyberpop. I feel like Valhalla is the game that I would recommend to people who want to play a real cyberpunk game. That or Cloudpunk.
Or Neofeud.
Neofeud,
which is another game
another one that comes to mind
I will talk about next week.
Read Only Memories.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one that comes to mind. Is just, this is a good cyberpunk narrative,
yeah.
and actually true to the ideals that cyberpunk wants to be able to represent, but feasibly cannot because it's made by a bunch of fucking idiots.
Or Transistor.
Oh, Transistor as well. Oh, but Supergiant are like... They're perfect.
Supergiant's
They're
fine,
perfect.
Though. Yeah, they do it. They know what's up.
They make perfect games. So,
I'm excited to talk about Neofeud next week, though.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Yes.
But yeah, no, Valhalla definitely strikes a chord as a relaxing game because it's. I mean, firstly, how many bartending simulators have you played in your life?
There's this one, and there's also Coffee Talk, which would also fall under the comfort game because Coffee Talk is also a very good narrative barista sim.
I feel like the thing about a barista, like a barista sim as like a delivery vehicle for really comforting gameplay, comes entirely from like the way that you can tell a story through that setting, because it's a setting where people will frequent it, and every individual character that frequents it potentially has a story or two to tell, and as long as the people involved are writing great narratives for these characters to participate in, then like it really is almost like a perfect vehicle for storytelling of any kind.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite things about Valhalla is you'll have a character that comes in as like surface level, you're like, wow, this character's a piece of shit. And then you get to know him and you're like, all right, he's going through some shit. And then you meet like one of their employees and you're like, that character's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool. All right, you get it.
Yeah.
You didn't try to do the Happy Madison way.
No,
Where like that. Everybody's a good guy actually. Everyone's just going through some stuff. It's like, yeah, but you're going through some stuff with 40 billion in your bank account.
You're going through some stuff with the money to
where
afford
they're homeless.
A good therapist and like a house and clothing and food. A private island.
CD Projekt Red, pay attention.
Yeah. Like really and truly, the fact that Valhalla as a game has no like sympathy for shitty rich people and for like violent capitalism is nice, because it takes place in a world where everybody is being beaten down.
Yeah, and like everyone's infected with
system.
These horrible capitalist nanomachines, and some people's actual bodies are rejecting them, and they die from it. And that's actually what you learn about the main character, is that her ex-girlfriend dies from the nanomachines because her body rejected them. And your main character is like, wow, we broke up and it got really bad and I knew she was sick, but I didn't ever think I'd ever not get to say goodbye.
Exactly.
And you're like, yeah, well.
That's and then you're like, yeah, and then I cry. And then I keep crying and crying.
Yeah.
Because that shit fucking hurted.
Yeah.
But
shit hurted.
That shit hurted. But yeah, it's Valhalla is one of those things that like, it's in terms of just being an unconventional kind of game that really does kind of fit comfortably into like the cozy, comfy gameplay and storytelling that you want from a game that you can view as relaxing, that you want from a game that intends to make you feel relaxed,
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Another game that comes to mind, and I guess this will be my last one, would be Yume Nikki. It's not a game that I always think of as relaxing, because some of those environments that are procedurally generated are kind of fucking fucked up and weird. Yeah. But because they're procedurally generated, jarring and odd and alien, there's something really calming, though, about the notion of just being a little sprite person who goes to sleep and wakes up in a dream, and the dream literally just being anything. Like, there's so many possibilities in Yume Nikki for what the dream you're going to get is. You're never going to get the same one twice. And I'll say, not all of them are like this, but when you find a good dream in Yume Nikki to explore, wow, it can be really relaxing and really, really chill to just kind of be floating through this spacey, comfy kind of thing. It's comfy in the way that something like Twin Peaks is, where it has a disconcerting and even kind of like fucky, weird energy. But like also it's very cozy and charming and oddly nice. Even though everything about it shouldn't feel nice, it is. Yume Nikki definitely comes to mind for me as just a game that I can, if I want to chill out and not think, because it's also a game that doesn't require a lot of thought. I mean, you're just going to sleep and waking up in your dreams. And then you walk around and that's it. It's like such like a low effort gameplay experience that you can really just put on a podcast and go and explore some dreams in Yume Nikki and chill the fuck out. or better yet, put on some music. I always like to put on like some electronic music when I play Yume Nikki. Like I like to put on Boards of Canada or something like that.
Yeah,
And
Boards of Canada.
Yeah, and just like chill out into one of these weird psychedelic kind of worldscapes that are just, not necessarily haunting, but have like a nice little haunting energy. And I think that'll be it for me. What about you?
My last one is actually a sponsored one.
Oh boy.
We're
we're sponsored. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're sponsored by who's CD Pro. The card says Cyberpunk 2077 is a new masterpiece.
A new map pat.
A new map pat from CD Projekt Red. A huge, dense, vibrant, buggy, shallow, lack of faith, and horrible RPG that any fan of the genre should avoid. First, because it will provide a sensation that the story is actually not depending on your choices at all. What Cyberpop 2077 lacks in campaign length, it will make up for in horrible bugs and seizures, offering a world of intrigue and violence unlike any other.
Are you reading off the back of the box?
No,
or
I'm
like
reading Metacritic reviews.
Oh my god!
But I'm changing the 100% ones to make them actually make sense. Oh my god, hold on. Plazine. Okay, yes, this was a bit. I'm sorry.
This is a good bit.
I just couldn't not talk about Cyberpunk 2077 this podcast because it's been so shit show.
It's literally it's like still trending on Twitter. So
Plazine on December 8th. 100% score said it's buggy and flawed on many technical but very fixable levels, but Cyberpunk 2077 is unique and beautiful experience almost on all other levels, except for the fact that the game doesn't work.
Bro, it's just Vampire. It's just Vampire the Masquerade, but it doesn't fucking work. And
I only
looks
believe
and plays like shit.
I only believe Phoenix 123's review, which is a 0, and it says didn't live up to the hype at all.
Got him.
The idea that there were going to be choices that affected your game barely happens at all. The world doesn't seem to be very immersive at all, and the game has the most bugs I've seen on a game launch since Madden 21.
Oh.
And it looks like an Atari game on the PS4 and Xbox One, which is true.
Looks like an Atari game.
It's true.
Holy
and they actually
crap.
address this in a God, what is it called? Fuck, hold on, I gotta.
Call me old fashioned, but I do think that like if you're going to release a game on a console, then it should work on that console. And the previous generation versions of the game do not work.
Okay,
like,
this is the transcript from the conference call they had with an interviewer, and it was CDPR.
Okay, what does CDPR say?
Okay, so the conference call people were like, board ignored the warnings about the last gen issues. Was game delivered anyway because you wanted to deliver this game this year? Launch is important, or you underestimated how bad it really is?
Was this like poorly translated from Polish?
Yeah, I believe so. Actually.
It sounds like it.
CD Projekt Red says, we focused too much on PC performance and didn't bother much with last-gen consoles, even though they assured everyone it would be 100% perfect on last-gen consoles. There were no out-of-the-ordinary amount of pressure to release the game, which is what a lot of like people who are defending this game are like, oh, there was so much pressure for them to release this game, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
there it is, straight from the horse's mouth, idiot.
They picked the release date. This was even before I saw this.
Yeah,
I was like,
they have delayed it.
They picked it and then delayed it. Can you imagine if it actually came out in April? What this game would have looked like?
Forget Atari. That shit would have looked like a fucking... would have looked like a... Sorry.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
I mean, it already... the Magnavox Odyssey.
I wouldn't say it looks Atari. I would say it looks early 360. It looks like Skyrim launch.
Yeah,
right?
it really does. There's no excuse at this point.
No.
If you're
well,
one of the most here's the thing though.
one of the
See,
most anticipated games with literally your own funding. I mean, of course, there's investors and whatever.
CDPR
but
are the Bethesda of Europe in more ways than one. But
I
in
mean,
this way, particularly, especially, they've never been great at making games
I can't
that
believe we got
aren't
into
jank
this.
and buggy.
I'm just gonna say I can't believe I made us get into this, but it's fine. We're gonna end the episode on this.
Yeah.
So it'll get most of the shit out of the way for next week. That way we don't have 4 hours of conversation just
CDPR.
on this topic. What's most baffling to me though is that Microsoft and Sony both wavered basically. Oh God, I forgot the word again. For the.
Did they like delay the releases of their console for
No.
game?
It wasn't for this game. It was that they oh God, it's like on the tip of my tongue. We talked about it last week when we talked about the epilepsy thing.
Oh yeah, like they have like specific like sensitivity readers.
Yes, they have specific
they have guidelines.
Anyway, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call it guidelines, but whatever. They ignored those because CD Projekt Red was like, "Oh yes, we'll have them fixed on a day one bug, but day one patch," which didn't happen.
Yeah, literally did not happen. So now the game can just like trigger deadly seizures,
epilepsies, and also there was the whole drama of oh, by the way, our streamer mode doesn't actually filter all the DMCA-able music, so your channel might die. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So anyway, conference call. How come game went through Sony's and Microsoft's certification to get on the consoles? CD Projekt Red said, "This is on our side. Sony and Microsoft were hoping we will fix the game on release. It's all our bad."
It sure is your bad, guys.
Yes, and the best
just because
part
you acknowledge it doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, no, it's like why did you do this?
If anything, you're lampshading your own carelessness.
They're literally like, "Oh, we didn't have any external pressure to release this game. We wanted money. We just wanted the money."
They really went full mask off in all ways with this one, I think. It just
cool.
It's exposed them for the kind of really harmful, shitty like company that they are, destroying their employees with like endless hours of fucking vile crunch.
Yeah. My favorite thing is
a game that they literally couldn't even bother to actually like bug check fully in the end on new consoles, and like a game that does not function on older consoles.
Yeah,
it literally just doesn't work. It's unplayable.
My favorite thing, I think, is people finding text log in Cyberpunk 2077 that is probably super angry devs, and I have 2 up right now.
All right,
thanks to King Mark on Twitter.
Thank you, King Mark.
Review Bloody Bout 5II, so 7. What went wrong? Just when we thought Macroware was done putting out unfinished games, we get to this piping hot plate of spaghetti code. Frankly, I don't even know where to start. From the story mode, which feels like it was cobbled together from the half-baked ideas of 6 writers working in different time zones, to the non-intuitive tutorials, to the ridiculous lag that had me up making a fresh cup of coffee between each punch, and finally to the head-scratching localization foul-ups. Honestly, the dialogues make no sense in any language. What the hell were they originally written in? Swiss? Which is a little too on the nose for my comfort. And then there's like a text log. Yes, there's a text log, which is my favorite one, which just says, "Guess even pneumatic arms can't lift morale in a toxic workplace."
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking brutal. Whoa. God damn. They really can't even like they can't even hide it. They can't even hide it. This is fascinating.
And then the other thing too was they lied to investors about refunds. They pass the blame for the refunds onto the console manufacturers and retailers, as opposed to like just being like, oh yeah, no, we lied to them and told them it would work.
Nope.
There's a whole bunch of bad, which is why I'm going to 100% buy this game full price at $80 with the season pass at another $80.
For sure.
100%.
All I have to say is move over, EA, and make some room for shittiest company in gaming next to yourselves and fucking Konami, because here comes CDPR to sit back down smack dab between you and Bethesda.
And like, Blizzard is sitting on the throne watching it all play out.
Exactly. This is Blizzard assembling his small council. Yeah. Oh my god. I truly can't believe how bad of a disaster this release has been. I would recommend that everybody who like wants to get an interesting impression of like some of the problematic aspects of the game, go and watch go and read Andrew Woodhouse's Twitter thread on it. Andrew Woodhouse is a half Japanese writer who is very excellent writer about games. And
Wait, are you telling me that this game has a less than tasteful depiction of Asian people?
Yeah, would you believe that this game really disgustingly exoticizes Japanese people?
Wow.
What is it with like Western game developers making games involving Japanese characters that play out more like unintentional propaganda, both either pro-Japanese nationalism or anti-Japanese people entirely? Who would have thought? Who would have thought that Westerners not consulting Japanese individuals on the depiction of Japanese culture and people in their games would be bad? Like, apparently all the people, and I'm not shitting you, all the Japanese looking characters in the game, or characters with Japanese names in the game that are meant to be Japanese American, have like comically exaggerated Japanese accents when they speak English.
Oh no.
Like,
is it the R thing?
Well, I mean, just they're voiced by Japanese voice actors speaking English. Okay. But like, these characters are meant to be Japanese American. This game is suggesting that like these characters couldn't even assimilate into the United States over generations and actually speak, English in unaccented like Californian American English.
This game was such a shit show, it ruined a bonus round.
Yeah, this is really funny. I mean, I guess that'll.
Well, it didn't ruin it, but
we'll call it a night for today. But more
on this next week.
More on this next week, we promise. And in the meantime, if you guys
I couldn't hold back.
No, it was really.
I needed to go in.
Restraint be damned. This shit is really funny, and like I said, it's been trending on Twitter since the game came out and hasn't stopped. So that should tell you anything you need to know about how much of a stir this shit has caused.
I think one of my favorite ones was Little V playing it. He posted a picture, like a video of a bug or whatever. And it was like, just so everyone knows, I'm having a really good time with this game. I can't wait till it leaves early access.
Got him.
Boom.
Fucking got him. But yeah, in the meantime, if any of you guys want to follow us on social media, you can find me at NouveauArtPunk on everything, including my Instagram, where, like I said earlier, I have shared in the past a bunch of Animal Crossing patterns, and who knows, with lockdown going as it is now, might be back to doing that soon over the Christmas break, because holy shit, we might not actually be employed for the next couple of weeks again.
Oh yeah, we're hitting double lockdown, except this time it's not federally funded. So that's scary.
So it's even worse. Yep. Who knows what's going to happen? Scary stuff. But I'll have plenty of time to play Animal Crossing absentmindedly and make patterns. So yeah, follow me at NouveauArtPunk on everything, including Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd if you want to hear me write about movies. Another thing which I will frequently probably be doing again.
Yes.
And what about you, Ben? Where can people find you?
You can find me at Scratch Me Silly, basically everywhere on the interwebs. I work at a bike shop, so I'm essentially an essential service. I'm not afraid about lockdown part 2. So that's good. I think I'll be financially stable at least.
Well, we're not. Lockdown Part 2 only looks like it'll last until January, which is good.
Yeah,
but it's still like
we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Don't love missing out on 3 weeks of pay. What's good,
Yeah. But yes, I stream on Twitch Wednesdays and Fridays. Technically, it's still a little weird, but I'm trying.
You figuring it out.
What else? My YouTube channel is also Scratch Me Silly, and I post funny stuff there. And I've been working on a couple of things, even though I deleted an entirety of one that I'm going to talk about next week.
Sure.
That whole situation. And that's basically it. I just want to get one last thing out of the way. Is that if you sorry, hold on. I gotta get this stuff out of my throat before I say this.
Articulate this. Yeah.
This one's a strong one.
Yeah.
If you blindly defend any video game company for anything, this is clearly about CD Projekt Red, but there was some shit that happened earlier today too with Blizzard that I'm like, really? You're defending Blizzard?
Yeah.
Right now?
These companies don't need you to play.
Please fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand how much I hate most AAA companies. I love Capcom. Not saying that I'm not critical of Capcom and that they're perfect.
You can like the work that a company puts out, but if you think that means that you should like crusade for them on the internet and defend them from people who have criticisms of them,
especially in a leftist group,
these companies don't care about you. Even Capcom doesn't care about Ben. Like,
no,
Square
Capcom
Enix,
hates me.
Square Enix doesn't care about me.
If Capcom liked me, they would put Skullomania in the game
as
opposed to just giving
fix the SF5 netcode.
That too. That's a whole other thing.
If Capcom liked you, they'd make a new Power Stone like right now.
I made a really good tweet today that I'm proud of. That was, if I had to describe a love-hate relationship, I would just start talking about Street Fighter V.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a perfect one right there.
But yeah, and if Capcom liked me and loved me, actually, they would put Skullomania in the game as opposed to the, I guess, second best thing, which was giving G, my actual main, a Skullomania costume. But
even still,
but yeah, fix the netcode, Capcom.
Capcom doesn't care about Ben. Square Enix doesn't care about me. Like, none of these companies who put out work that you love give two shits about you. All they want is your fucking money, and
they especially don't do it when they put a trans character in World of Warcraft that is, as the article said, easily missable.
Yeah. And then
so why are you defending anyway?
Fighting and claiming representation. Do not pretend that these companies are your friends, and do not fool yourself into thinking they're your friends.
If they could make more money off of killing trans people, they would.
They would. Yeah, if they could make more money off of literally any atrocious thing, they would, because that's how capitalism works. That's the harsh reality that we live in. Relaxing games, everyone.
I don't like. Oh yeah. Oh jeez. We ended this bad. Make the outro music one of the Animal Crossing songs. I'm so sorry.
I do have some very relaxing outro music planned.
This was 100% my bad.
No, it's not. It's sometimes these conversations need to be had, and right now it was burning in the craw. That's what we're here for. And you know what? We'll end it on a positive note. People, play some relaxing games over your holiday. Do something for yourself. Sit down, have your mug of tea, sit by your fireplace if you have one, your space heater if you have one, and just do something for you. Because this year has been really shitty and difficult for a lot of people.
And it will continue to be shitty and difficult for the foreseeable future, unfortunately.
Exactly. So in the meantime, allow yourself a moment for a brief respite. Sit down and do something for yourself.
You do not have to be perfect. You can chill.
Yeah, exactly. And do that by playing your favorite games to chill out to. Sweet anime games to chill to. That's what you want. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. We are GamePunx. This is Bonus Round. Have yourselves a wonderful holiday. Wear your damn masks.
Yes, please wear your masks so we can get out of the red zone.
Oh boy, it's Santa! Ho, ho, ho!
Santa has something very special in his sack for you two.